Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well and having a fabulous day. It was incredibly windy today, so I had the intuitive message to do a reading on the winds of change and what guidance, insight, and messages the universe has for you about that. So let's take a look at the cards and see what's going on. So we have the Ibex? Huh, never heard of that before, but resilience. So yeah, it feels like you have this inner stability, solid foundation, resilience about you that no matter where the wind blows, no matter how hard it gets, like there were tornadoes today, like no matter what happens, no matter how stormy and turbulent it gets, you're going to be okay. You have the inner resilience and you also have this protection from the universe. So come what may, you're going to be just fine. So don't worry about it. Don't, buy into the fear, the false evidence appearing real. Don't buy into the stress, the worry, the doubt, the what ifs, the negative what ifs, those negative narratives that, can spiral out of control and just, build up all this momentum and have you freaking out and feeling overwhelmed. Don't worry about it. You have the resilience to overcome anything. You are not forsaken. You're not forgotten. You are a cherished child of the universe. The divine loves and protects you and guides you. You're going to be just fine. We also have the raccoon, resourcefulness. Yeah, I feel like your resilience also has to do with your resourcefulness. Like, you can work situations out to your favor. Let's say you have some challenge or some bumps in the road or some hiccup. Like, you have this resourcefulness about you that you can look for silver linings, look for the bright side, but also see how these challenges, these setbacks can be used for your benefit and propel you even further. I'm seeing these events in your life, they're actually launch pads. Some people, they're like, oh no, that's a pitfall. No, it's actually a launch pad because you're so resilient and resourceful. And it really feels like nothing can hold you back. It may feel like, because there are all these strong winds and whatnot, like you're actually having it be the winds in your sails is what I'm getting. The messaging that's coming in. It's like, people would be like, oh no, it's too hard to move forward. It's like, no, you're using that to propel you forward. You are, like, not going to be stopped. You're going to be A-okay and even better. Like, you're going to thrive. You're going to soar. Like, it really feels like I'm getting this messaging of, like, a bird or an eagle or, like, you're just very free and, like, the wind is underneath your wings and you are just having it. You're not putting in all this extra effort is the messaging I'm getting in. You're using the winds to your benefit. You're working smarter, not harder, and it's just lifting you up higher and higher and reaching these greater heights. And you're just gliding, you're sailing, it's beautiful. So don't worry about the winds of change because it's going to work out in your favor. Okay, funny that I was just talking about, like, feeling like you're free and soaring. It also helps to have grounding, and it's a turkey, and that's a bird. But with the whole thing about soaring and reaching great heights, I'm getting the messaging and imagery of a tree, because trees can reach these profound heights, right? Like, they can be super tall, they can be super massive, and just like have this sturdy girth to them. And like, some of these trees are ancient and they're just massive and like reaching for the skies and the heavens. And a lot, like, these trees, they can weather the storm, so all these, turbulent winds, but it's also because they're grounded. If I remember correctly, their root system goes as deep as their branches go high. So because of their grounding, because they have that sound, firm, stable foundation, they're able to reach these heights. They're able to reach for the heavens and just be so prosperous and strong and resilient and also resourceful, because the trees, they can't move, like they can't walk up and move to a new situation, but it feels like they just make the most of situations. Like with letting go of things that no longer serve, they let go of the dead leaves because they trust the process. They know that the winds of change are going to come in and spring will come back with it. It won't always be winter. The branches won't always be barren. But if they want the new life to come in, if they want these new leaves, they have to let go of the old ones that no longer serve them. Otherwise, the space for the new leaves will be occupied by the old leaves that are literally dead weight at that point. So, have the resilience and resourcefulness so you can soar and reach greater heights, but also be grounded. Have that stable, sound foundation. Make sure you have like inner peace and the emotional regulation, because that's going to help you weather the storms. That's going to help you just be prosperous and successful and, resilient no matter which way the wind blows. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, we also have purple, developmental clarity. Yeah, that very much feels like having that internal stability, that internal resilience, that internal peace of mind that is not being, disrupted and in shambles because of the external world. Because looking around the external world right now, like there's a lot of drama and chaos. Like literally, the tornado sirens were going off for hours today. Like the winds were crazy strong. And it's not just, Mother Nature that's getting intense and fired up. It's also the people. Like I was hearing family members and they're getting all fired up and like ranting about all this, that, and the other, and how everyone's wronging them, and just like all these negative narratives and going down these spirals. So it's like, it's a lot. The external world can get very, very loud, but I did okay. I was resilient enough because I was finding my inner peace. I was finding, bright sides to the moment, things to be grateful for. Like my cat Suki, she was snuggled up with me throughout the storm, and she was being all cuddly, and she'll do that sometimes, but she doesn't usually do it downstairs in the basement because I'm not usually down there. And so I was on the chair while other family members were on the couch, and she could have gone over and been on the footstool by my other family members. She chose to be by me, and she jumped up and like was pushing me off the chair so she could get comfy. And I let her because I was like, you know what, you're really cute. You're being all snuggly and happy. So no matter, like, because my family was watching all these drama shows, and it just felt like really low frequency that was like heavy. And I could have let it bother me, but because I was, having my inner peace, my inner resilience, and like just being grateful and appreciative of Suki being all snuggly and finding joy in that, I was able to weather the storms. In terms of the literal storms outside with the tornadoes, and also these storms of chaotic family energy and the things that they consume. So yeah, have that mental clarity. Have that inner resourcefulness, be grounded so that the external can't shake you. You have the stable foundation. And whereas other people, their inner foundations are crumbling, their lives are kind of not necessarily all falling apart, but like just how they perceive things. Because like in the example of my family, they are basically making mountains out of molehills and blowing up over them, and they're having like no emotional regulation, and they're just losing their minds over things when it's really not that deep. It's really not that big a deal. And it's like, sure, it's not to your preference, sure, it's annoying, sure, it's frustrating, all these things, but do you have to keep, letting it fester, keep letting it grow this momentum, and like poking the beehive, so to speak? just like riling up all the bees in there, and it's turning into a fridge. He's like, is that really necessary? And I could have let that bother me because they are a lot, but if you can, have that inner resilience, focus on your inner peace, because your peace of mind is a priceless treasure, and having that internal stability, that internal resilience, that's, strong foundation, you're going to be a-okay while the winds are, kicking up and creating all this turbulence, and there are all these storms, whether literally or metaphorically in terms of people's internal worlds. They're going to be losing their minds, and you will be able to stay grounded and in peace and just walk through the storm, weather it, and just like, okay, I'll be okay. So yeah, definitely prioritize your mental clarity and your well-being and your peace of mind, because those are priceless. So we also have, life is an expression of you. Life is more than existing. Yeah, that really feels like sort of what I was talking about earlier with the whole tornadoes and being in the basement and having my family be, extra. And I could have just been, in the existing of, this is what's happening. I really was hoping, to do these creative projects, and that got thrown out the window because there's no way to do that down in the basement. And like, they're watching all these like drama, chaotic, lower frequency shows that I'm not interested in, and they're having it really loud, and I could have, gotten into that whole narrative. It was like, oh, this is a horrible time and all these things, but because I was able to find the gratitude and find joy and love with Suki, the cat, like, it wasn't that bad. Like, it was longer than I would have liked, but I was able to enjoy it. I was able to snuggle with the kitty, to breathe, to have inner peace, while the family did their own thing. And so it very much feels like life being a mirror to you. It's the energy you're putting out into the world comes back to you. It's, just reflecting. So whatever you're feeling in the internal will show up in the external, because life matches your energy and your frequency. And so if you're having all this turbulence on the inside, there's going to be more of that on the outside. And to a certain extent, that's also the collective energy that's on the outside. But your personal experience with it will be drastically different depending on your internal experience, on your foundation. So, like, well, everyone else is running around like a chicken with their head cut off. You can just be like, okay, I'm gonna go with the flow. I'm gonna, roll with the punches. I'm gonna trust the process. This is a crazy storm. These winds are intense, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be resilient. I'm going to make it out of this okay. Something about this will, be for my benefit. I don't know what it is. Maybe in hindsight it'll be crystal clear, but you're having a more positive outlook, and it's going to serve you beautifully. So we also have, be authentic. Your way is the only way for you. Yeah. Like, I've never really fit in that well with my family. The whole kind of black sheep mentality thing, because I would see things differently. I would, be more hopeful about things while they're more pessimistic, and they're like, oh no, I always prepare for the worst. I always expect the worst. Like, I remember my dad saying, oh yeah, I actively expect the worst, because then if something better happens, I can be excited. It's like, that doesn't seem like the greatest way to live. Like, good on you for, putting that energy of excitement out there, but I don't know, it just seems like a very miserable way to live life. But if that's, the way you want to go, that story you want to write, that's your prerogative. But because I was authentic to me, and instead of getting all riled up because my mom's like, oh my gosh, the storms are going to be so bad, look at the map, oh, I was wanting to get ready for bed, because literally this was going on for hours earlier this evening and into the night. And she's like going on and on. It's like, oh, I just got extended. Well, it's like, okay, it's the weekend. Like, you don't have to get up and do anything tomorrow. Like, you could sleep in. You don't have work. Is this really worth getting all riled up over? And when you can stay true to yourself, like your true self, not the one you do to pretend to be other people, because to a certain extent, I kind of tried to fit in. It never felt right, though, because I could look around at family, peers, co-workers, bosses, and, like, they're playing all these manipulative, petty games, and they're being toxic, like, they're starting rumors, they're gossiping, and it just felt heavy and gross and just ick. And, like, I've had some very rough breakups, and people have encouraged me to actively be petty and to, like, teach them a lesson. It's like, I could choose to do that, but it just feels so heavy and icky, and it hurts my heart to think about it. Like, I could see doing it, and, like, certain thoughts would cross my mind, but I'm like, do I actually want to do that? No, because I want to be proud of the person I am when I go to bed at night. I don't want to be like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Ooh. And it's just like, it just feels so heavy, and it's like all these people are going around drinking poison, holding on to bitterness and hate and resentment and pettiness and just, like, tit for tat, and, like, they're drinking that poison and expecting the other person to get sick. So it just never made sense to me, and so I would often disengage and detach and go off on my own, because I was like, oh, this doesn't feel right to me. I'm not going to stop you all from doing it, although I highly recommend that you don't, because this is feeling like all kinds of ick and gross, and, like, you're not going to be happy, but by all means. And so really just be authentic to yourself, because you have the resourcefulness, you have the resilience, you have this beautiful light to you. And, like, in my case, like, people would often try to dim my shine. They would feel threatened by me, which is why they tried to drag me down, do slander, smear campaign, throw mud, and, like, try to make it out like character assassinations on me. But it's because I think in part they were jealous, because they weren't being authentic. They were playing parts. They were pretending to be things that they're not. And they see me and I'm being genuine, and they want it for themselves, but they feel like they can't have it, so then they lash out. And you may have experienced that too, which could also be some of these winds of change of how the people who were playing those games are no longer seeing the success that they used to, because a lot of times with the tactics with certain people, with their manipulations and whatnot, they would succeed, they would end up, tricking people. It feels like that's not happening anymore, because I feel like so many more people are saying enough is enough, and they're shining their authentic light. They know that they can't fit in and just be this cog in the social machine anymore, and they're going to be themselves. They're going to walk their own path, and that's going to let them soar even higher and reach greater heights. So we also have, that's funny, horse freedom. Yeah, it really does feel like this is this freeing moment for so many people. You're, like, detaching from all these past expectations and chains and of how you're quote unquote supposed to be, so you can reach these heights, and you're letting the wind be this, it's the wind beneath your sails. It's letting you go higher and higher. And I just keep seeing this imagery of a bird, like an eagle, just soaring to freedom and just going higher and higher, higher, and the wind is just carrying them, and it's glorious. So I'm really excited for you, and you're going to be doing great things. Pig luck. Yeah, it really does feel like this lucky time for you. It's like the winds of fate, and that maybe you felt like they were pushing against you before, but now they are propelling you forward. You're just having so much ease, so much luck. Things are going smoother for you. And even if, the seas get rough in this metaphor of like the wind in your sails and all that, you trust the process and know that any kind of turbulence, any storm, any, strong winds, it's all going to work out for you, and it's going to be beautiful. Like it's just going to be this prosperous, successful, happy, abundant life where you can thrive, because you have this freedom. So you have the resilience, resourcefulness, luck, and freedom coming to you with these winds of change. And I think it's because you're being so authentic. You're staying true to you. Turtle, pace over race. Yeah, it feels like you're pacing yourself more, because I know so much in today's society, there's like this whole hustle culture where you gotta just grind. You gotta get up early, you gotta put in all these hours, you gotta always be working, always be go. And it's not that putting in effort is bad. It's not that, getting up early and, going to the gym or, starting work while other people are sleeping is necessarily bad. But when you're just continuously grinding and you're always trying to keep producing more and more and more, and you're just like pushing yourself and like harder and harder, it's like the tortoise and the hare. The hare thought it was ahead, and for a while it was, but it ended, I'm pretty sure in that story the hare ends up falling asleep because it was like overconfident. But like in the message coming in is like the hares in this society with all them like grinding, it feels like that was actually a burnout for them. Yeah, it feels like they pushed too hard, they went too hard, and they were always trying to force things to happen instead of trusting the process, instead of going with the flow, instead of letting the winds carry them. They're just like, no, I know, I can do this, I'm fast, I'm, competent, all these things, I'm going to go, I'm going to grind harder, it's going to happen. But with you are being mindful of your pace. You are going with the flow. You are getting in alignment with the universe so you can get these intuitive messages so that you can have inspired, aligned action, which will go so much further, because it feels like the messaging that's coming in with a sailboat. So it feels like all these people are forcing their boats out into the sea. They're like, now's the time. And they're not paying attention to the weather and the winds. And so all these people are going out there with their boats, and the wind just stops, and it's like a standstill. And so they're just paddling, and they're trying to force to make it happen. Whereas you're being mindful, you're being aware, you're noticing things, and you have the sensitivity about you to feel when the energy is right, when it's in alignment. So you take that inspired leap of faith based on messaging from the universe and just like your intuition, and you're like, no, this is the time. And so you get on your boat then, and that's where the winds pick up, and they just, all these other people who've been trying to force it to happen are exhausting themselves, and you're just having smooth sailing because you took the inspired, aligned action. You were focusing on your pace. You were conserving your energy instead of, just spending and not, being mindful about it and being like, is this the best way to spend my time and energy? You're being much more mindful, and it's like, yeah, you had a slow start because you didn't, jump in your boat right away and try to force it to happen. But in the end, you win the race. You win the race because you were mindful of your pace and you're having this inspired, aligned action. And I think it also has to do with the luck and the freedom, because since you're being mindful of your pace and you're having this inspired, aligned action, you're having the lucks, you're having the winds of fortune pick up your sails, so then you have the freedom. So while all these other people, are spending their time trying to paddle and force, their progress in the boat, you had time to enjoy life, to have a good meal, to make preparations, to make sure all of your supplies are on your ship. And so you had this freedom about you, whereas they were trying to force it to happen and just going, try, paddle. But you had luck and freedom on your side because you had that resourcefulness to you. You had that resilience. You were authentic and tuned in. So good on you. Funny about that. Yeah, your hard work is paying off, new moon and Capricorn. It really does feel like that because let's be real, trusting the process can be really hard work because you can feel like you're falling behind, you can feel like you're not doing enough, and just like you're seeing all these other people around you that are like struggling, forcing, paddling, putting in all this effort, they're getting exhausted, like, no, this is the way to do it, paddling upstream, and you're just like, I don't know. But because you are, having that strong internal foundation where you're unshakable, where you're resilient, where you're resourceful, where you are being mindful of your pace and you're having this clarity, your hard work is paying off because it's resulting in luck and freedom. And you're having this authentic life where you don't have to pretend to be other people. And that's just really beautiful for you. We also have, what do you need to release? Waning moon. So that feels like the energy of forcing and trying so hard and grinding really feels like something that society as a whole needs to release. Maybe you need to release it too, but maybe to a lesser degree than society as a whole. But it really feels like we need to release past baggage that's weighing us down, which would, make your ship harder to, sail because it's weighed down by unnecessary things and it would impact your pace. Maybe you need to release, pretending to be other people, to be acting, to try to fit in these boxes. Maybe you need to release these negative narratives about how things won't work. But once you release, once you let go, once you trust the process and you get in tune with yourself and the universe, you are just going to sail to freedom. That's the messaging that keeps coming in. Like, you are heading to somewhere beautiful. Like, I'm getting this imagery of like a bird sailing above your ship with symbolizing your freedom, and like you're just sailing into the most gorgeous sunset. Like, the imagery is stunning. Like, it's like the most breathtaking view ever, and like you have luck and freedom on your side. The winds of change are just bringing in all these blessings and prosperity and peace and clarity and freedom and luck, and it's just beautiful. So by staying mindful about what to release, all this good is going to come in. So we also have, funny, I was talking about getting in tune and alignment and like you're going to be shown the way. It's like candle, you will be shown the way. Like, it really does feel like this bird, this is like in the imagery they just came up with, like the ship and it was like flying ahead. It feels like that's the bird showing you the way. It's illuminating your path. And it makes me think of, I think it was with Noah, and the dove came in to bring back the new life and brought back the branch. Like, it really does feel like you're being shown the way to prosperity, to peace, to happiness, to love, to lightheartedness, to joy, to a life that you love, to freedom, to luck. It's beautiful. We also have haystack, karma. You will reap what you have sown. Yeah. This really does feel like, since you're being authentic, since you are grounding, since you're being resilient and resourceful, and you're putting in aligned, conscious, inspired effort and action, like, you're going to just reap this beautiful, bountiful harvest. You're trusting the process. You're being mindful of your pace. And I'm just getting the tortoise and the hare, like, because the hare was so overconfident, because it was so assured of its success and that it was going to win in like an egotistical kind of way and like condescending kind of way, and making fun of the tortoise, and like how it ended up taking that, like that messaging of like burning itself out. Like, the hare ended up reaping what it had sown, like, versus the turtle who, was going to go at its own pace, was going to trust the process. It wasn't going to let other people discourage it. It had that strong internal foundation of resilience. It ended up reaping what it had sown, and it ended up succeeding in winning the race. So don't worry. You're being shown the way. You're going to have freedom and luck. It's going to work out beautifully for you. You've got this. Okay. Mountain road. You are on the road to success. Yes, this really feels like these winds of change are bringing in so much success and freedom and luck and prosperity and abundance and happiness and joy and love, and just, you're going to thrive. You're going to have this beautifully authentic life where you're just, it's like incredible. Like, I just keep getting all this beautiful imagery, and it just feels like you're so at peace, and like you're not letting the external storms batter you around. You're just like, no, I'm okay. I'm at peace. I am going to be successful. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be a-okay. I'm going to have the freedom and the luck and the resilience and the resourcefulness to do whatever I need to and whatever I want to, because I'm authentic, and that's the only way for me. This is beautiful. Okay, Ram, a stubborn, aggressive person. So I'm like, I'm getting two messaging with this. One, it's in regards to you, but it's not like aggressive. Like, it's more like you are persistent and dedicated and unrelenting, and you're not going to let other people divert you from your authentic path and believing in yourself and having your stable foundation. You're not going to get caught up in all the turmoil and the chaos and the drama of the external. You are going to stay true to yourself, and you're going to stay grounded and firm in your foundation. The other messaging coming in is stubborn, aggressive people out in society who are convinced that they know best, that they know what's what, and like all these doom and dooms, like, no, I know, this is how it really is, and like they're screaming at you. They're like, no, don't you see all X, Y, and Z? Like, this is truth. Believe it. Rah, 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 rah. And like they might be in your face, whether online or in person. Like, it just feels like they're stubborn and aggressive, and they can't be swayed because they're like too rigid and fixated and trying to control everything. It really feels like they aren't quote unquote happy, and I don't even know if like this is a real happiness, but the messaging I'm getting is they can't be happy unless they control everything and have things a certain way and have everyone agree with them. They feel threatened if someone disagrees with them. But you, on the other hand, aren't letting them dictate your path or how you're perceiving the world and your beliefs. Like, you are very firm and dedicated and fixated and focused on your path, and you know the truth, and you're not going to let anything sway you. And we also have bridge, successfully overcoming a problem. So it might be the problem of the stubborn, aggressive people, but no matter what, you're having all this success come with you, and I think it's because you're letting the winds carry you instead of fighting against them, instead of trying to force things, instead of paddling upstream. You're just working smarter, not harder, with your resourcefulness. You're being resilient, you're grounded, you're authentic, you're getting clarity, you're getting freedom, you're getting luck. Like, all this is coming for you. Like, no matter what, you're going to be a-okay and so successful. Because the pathway is being shown to you. You're going to reap what you've sown, and since you're putting in all this positive energy and you're being mindful and you're getting in tune so you can have this aligned, inspired action, like, it's all working out beautifully for you. You're on the road to success, so don't worry, don't fret, don't buy into fear or doubt or the naysayers or the people who are so convinced that you're wrong and they're right. Like, you don't need any of it. Stay true to you. Be authentic, because you're on the right path. The winds of change are in your favor, and you're going to be blessed beyond measure. Like, all these miracles will happen for you because you are staying the course, you are keeping your own pace, and you are being resourceful and smart about how you do things, because you're getting in tune with the universe so you can have that inspired, aligned action, because that's going to work so much more and give you so much more progress than trying to force things, instead of trying to go on your own, conception of timing and what is the right timing and be like, well, I feel like today's the right one just because my ego says so. You're like, okay, let me get in tune with the universe, because the universe knows more than me and wants me to succeed and wants to guide me and wants to protect me and wants to nurture me. So let me see what the universe has to say. Let me listen to the energies. I'm feeling now's the right time, and going from there. So I'm excited for you all. Congrats on having these big wins of change. Like, it's going to be so successful and beautiful and bountiful, and I'm excited for you. So I'm hoping you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Please take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye!